Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So I went ahead and ordered the Teela Masters of the Universe Origins figures from eBay, and I got it from a guy named KJR Goods. And the guy was really cool because he had a few for sale, and I said, hey, can you send me the one that doesn't have the tab punched? And his prices were the lowest on eBay, and I figured, you know what, for his troubles to go to you to get these figures and then sell them, and then he actually sent it via priority mail and had free shipping on his auction. So it was all pretty good stuff. Now the problem is he put the word fragile on here, and the box is not a super sturdy box, and the word fragile to people that work in the mail industry means throw the box around like crazy and don't worry about what's inside. It means what's inside is disposable. So let's be a lesson to you guys. The word fragile, handle with care, translates to disposable, don't worry about, it can be tossed around, and it just seems like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at that Origins Teela. Teela. So, I'm a huge fan of Origins, as you guys know, and I will definitely buy my top 11 figures that are my favorite characters. But after that, I don't know how many more I'm going to buy. And I did purchase the PowerCon set. Well, the PowerCon set does not come with Teela. So I really wanted to make sure to get a Teela because she is not included with the PowerCon. I'm surprised she wasn't one of the main figures that was in the Lords of Power release line, because she was different in the Lords of Power than she was for the original release. But I don't know. Let's take a look inside this box. He did a great job with the packing, which I'm glad, because like I said, the box was kind of trashed on the outside. So let's see how this looks. Yep, lots of bubble wrap. KJR Goods, good job, man. I'll post a link to his auctions and the thing. Now, I already knew the bubbles, not the bubble, but the card was going to be kind of bent, because that's the way Walmart ships them, because they're Walmart exclusives. And sure enough, the back of the card is bent. He did give me one of the tabs not busted out, but it's really close to falling out. The reason why I wanted it, so if I scan in the back of this, I'd have a nice clean picture not to fix them. So you can see at the back of the box, it shows, hey, you can insert the weapons, you can turn her waist, you can bend her knee. And there's the other figures in the line. So you can see we got our He-Man, our Teela, Man-at-Arms, Skeletor, Evil Lyn, and Beastman. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. Before we jump into opening this figure, let's talk a little history about Teela and the different figures we've seen through the years, and I'll pop her right open. So in the 80s, we got a Teela like this, and she came with a shield, which is on this Teela. And basically, you're supposed to buy two of them from the Tale of Two Teelas and pretend like they were two different characters. One was the clone of the other one, or some crazy thing like that Skeletor made because he wanted to marry her or something. So when I was a kid, I would only had one Teela, and I'd pretend like my one Teela would take the armor off, and she was the sorceress, and then when she put her armor on, bam, or the way around. When the armor was on, she was the sorceress, armor off, she was Teela. And it used to be just one person, and she would actually transform. This was before the Prince Adam era, before the Prince Adam cartoon came out. So my actual He-Man never transformed, but my Teela did into the Warrior Teela. Now I did find this cool sword for her to match. Now these are actually the commemoratives. I do have an original 80s one packed away in a box. Here it is. Here's the actual real 80s one, and it's kind of flimsy. And here is one of the comics that shows Teela. And there she is falling through a hole in the floor. Now, we know in the comics they also have a green Teela. And it confused a lot of kids because they're like, wait a minute, she's not green. And later on when Classics came out, not only did they give us the cool Classics Teela that you see I made into Ghostbuster Teela, they also gave us the green Teela. How cool is that? And they made her translucent so you can kind of see through her. And one thing she had, a really cool feature, was called exploding hips. And that's where the bottom of this would just shatter because of the welds they had. So you had to replace this part. And you'd have to use Queen Marlena for the replacement was the easiest way to go. And you can see here, Notice how it is green inside there on the tabs, and this one is still light green on the tabs. So this one's been fixed and replaced with the new body section that I stole from Queen Marlena. So you can kind of see how that looks when you replace it. Now, a lot of times when you replace it, this part will also be green, depending on how careful you are with it. I wanted to do a little more customizing, so I only kept them inside pegged that way. All right, 2000X gave us this cool Teela, and I really like the style of this Teela with the big old long ponytail, and she's got the sword, but she doesn't have the armor we're used to seeing, because now she's been replaced with the actual Bird Lady Sorceress for the replacement. Now later on, we did get some Filmation ones. We also got the Bikini Teela, Battleground Teela. Now I did throw some armor on her to kind of cover her a little bit, but she was one from one of the comics. And then we got our Filmation Teela, and the first one we got came with one of the ships. It was a Talon fighter. So this is the Talon fighter, Teela, and she had like a weird chin thing kind of going on, where her mouth kind of got misplaced in the mold somehow and kind of messed up. And when you turned her waist, her center part here went with it. Now this Teela I've actually altered a little bit to make her a little skinnier than the original one came out. And then of course she had a helmeted head. You could see the difference. You can see the way her belly sticks out on this one as opposed to my altered one, where it's a little bit closer in to make her skinnier. Then we had a real Filmation release by Super 7, which for some reason they really messed up on the face paint, and also the hips. On the hips on this one, depending on which one you got either a skinny hip Teela or a wide hip Teela. Now I found, you can see this one right here, I've already fixed her. If you take and you heat up Teela super hot, and then these pins will warm up, and you shove the leg down while it's hot, and it will shove the leg up and into the leg connection, and then it will work better. Now there are two different length pins that came out here because they had a mix up in China, and if you got the short pins, it works way better than the ones that are longer. And on some figures you got a long and a short in the same figure, so that was kind of crazy. Now what's kind of fun too is you could take the Classics Teela and stick on the head from the Battleground Teela, and that was always my go-to Teela right there. Now we did see some other Teelas released in the line. We had the special Snake Teela release, and this was kind of a fun one too, so I can get it out of here. Oh, she is stuck in the box. You may not get to see her. You can see the top of the box. Ooh, and basically in the cartoon 2000X, there's a scene where a whole bunch of masters got turned into snake people. We saw Mechanic and Man-at-Arms and some other people. And for some reason, they only made Teela, though. There she is. Look at that. That is so cool looking. And you can see they did this really awesome paint job on her. And there she is. Now, it is the exact same Teela, so there is no actual bumps and wrinkles on her where the snake parts are. It's just an awesome paint job. Those four horsemen, they do an amazing job. All right, so that's the snake armor Teela. And then, of course, Super 7, they released the Ultimate Teela, which came with alternate heads and a cool card back reminiscent of the 80s. And you can see here, there is our Ultimate Teela with the different heads. So you can go with a blonde Teela, a long blonde haired Teela, and you can see the hair is kind of the wrong shade of blonde though. It's not really yellowish. Where'd that Teela go? Here she is. So you can kind of see the hair color difference where it's kind of a dirty blonde instead of a bright yellow blonde. But still really cool. And again, they show all the cool features of changing the heads, everything else. Heads up. Super 7 figures, if you change the heads, heat them up first, otherwise you'll break the neck pin, and you will not be happy if your neck peg breaks on your figures. The girls' figures are extremely thin in that spot. All right, and then of course, when Classics first came out, our original Teela we first got had some cool extra features. She came with a bird, and there you can see the bird in there, and you can see the original Teela. but she did not come with armor. She did have an alternate head, though, for the snake armor. And there you go. All right, so that was kind of a trip down memory lane of Teelas. So now let's go ahead and open this thing up and find out how cool this new Teela is and how it fits in with the Origins line. Okay, Teela. Let's move all these Teelas out of the way. Now, one thing I did notice right off the bat is she comes with the same comic as He-Man. I wonder if they all come with the same, or the Skeletor. I wonder if they all have the same comic, and this is just for the first release only. Well, let's go ahead and open it up. Modern posing retro play. Now, if you haven't looked recently, they have some new wrestling figures coming out soon that are females that use the Teela and Evelyn body, and they look really cool. They'll be great to use for customizing if you're into Masters of the Universe. If you're into wrestling, it's about time they got some girl figures in there. There's my comic. Once I get one more, I'll measure it. We'll see how thick this paper is. And this one also uses the string, just like the other one that I showed you. And it's also only a few pages long. Actually, it seems longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's only 6 pages. I guess it's not longer. It's my imagination. All right. So, there she is. There she was, just walking down the street. Anyway, let's go ahead and pop her out of there. What is holding her in? Oh, she's got a rubber band. Chink. All right. Well, she does. The plastic on it is amazing. I wish these were more gold than they are. They're more kind of a brown than they are gold. But that's okay. That's how usually the figures end up looking after time goes by anyway. You can see here the figures we got from the commemorative. They have the more gold. But you can see, this is one, no, it's a commemorative too. Where's my original Teela? Did I already put her away? Oh well. So, again, they're more brown instead of gold. Her articulation, though, you can just feel the joints are really nice. So we have ankle articulation, boot cut because they separate there, a knee joint. Ugh. Don't break on me, Teela. I can't get the knee joint to work. Oh, it's going the wrong angle. That's why. There we go. It works really good once you get it lined up right. And then up in the hip. Her hips actually move better than He-Man's hips. And twist waist, but not spring-loaded. Yep, the originals were spring-loaded. And then shoulder movement, elbow, and then wrist and hand. And, of course, her head moves. Let's go ahead and pull off this armor. See how it comes off. It's nice. It's soft, rubbery armor. And there is her face, for those that want to see what her face looks like. I really like this figure. That is so cool. So, there we go. There's our Teela. Let's go ahead and check out her weapons and accessories. So, let's get these out of the package. And Mattel, if you're watching, cool with the tape. You're putting way too much tape to hold these accessories in. And it just leaves a mess everywhere. I'm hoping she comes with a sword. We'll see if she does or not. It doesn't look like it, though. Nope, I don't think she has a sword in there. But the original didn't come with a sword either. So, there you go. Hopefully, Mattel's going to release a weapons pack. That'd be great. And the weapons pack comes with a Teela sword. Hint, hint. Those who are watching that are in charge. That would be cool. All right, there's her staff. Now, what's funny is her staff is pre-bent. You can see how it has a bend towards the bottom. And when we were kids, the staffs would always get stuck getting bent. It was always a pain. And you can see the staff different size. This is thicker around and shorter than the original staff. Let's stick that in her hand. Now, what's also cool is let's take a look at her feet just for a moment. If you take a look at her feet, she has a small heel on her foot. And that's okay. But the original figure had this heel right here. You can see that or not, which one the light, there it is. And notice on this side it has a much smaller heel. Well, those were not heels at all. What it's supposed to be is her foot has no heel on it, but this is just her, like she's walking on her toes, almost kind of sneaking through the grass. And because she'd always fall over, they added that little bump originally so that she could have her heel up in the air. And so I've been tempted to sand that off on one of the figures one time just to have it so it's supposed to be original. And that's why the two different heights on the original figure was because she doesn't actually wear heels. She's wearing flat shoes like He-Man made out of cloth. But that's just there to prop the figure up so it can stand flat even though she's walking on her tiptoes. But the new figure doesn't need that because we actually have articulation. So technically there's no heel required on these figures, but I guess they decided to go with the heel anyway. Alright, so that is the new Teela. Here's how she stands next to He-Man. So you can kind of get an idea for sizing. And then here is Skeletor. I am Skeletor, Overlord of Evil. Oh, there goes Teela. And of course, you read the old comics. It's supposed to be that he wants to marry Teela, which is kind of creepy in a way. But the shield just has a handle. You can see that right there. And then it just kind of comes around and goes into her kind of rubbery hand. And there you go. There she has her shield. Ha! All right. I love it. These figures are amazing. I cannot wait for Manny Faces and some other ones. They're going to be so cool once we get more of these figures. All right, you guys, leave your comments, subscribe, like, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. Oh, today we're going to have some live drawings in a couple hours here, so tune back in. My friend Steve's coming back, and we're going to have some live drawings going on. So if you want to see some live drawings, tune back in. And I did improve my He-Man a little bit. I swapped out this piece for the old one because the old one was better. And so I pulled this apart right here to swap that out. So I added some heat shrink for the handle to make it bigger. So now my Ghostbuster He-Man is ready for action. All that's left to do now is to change out his nameplate and put Man on there, or his symbol. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Maybe even He-Man, but probably just Man since he used the last name. It'd be kind of funny. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. I will see you next video. Bye now.